guys, it's Sam, and this is my spoiler-filled discussion video for the Goddess Test series by Amy Carter. As I said, this video will have spoilers in it, so if you want to see my spoiler-free review, I will link that down below. I called this more of a discussion video because this is kind of a gush/gripe. If you watch the review, I really do enjoy this series. I think they're fun. I read them very quickly, but I have so many problems with it, and the ending left me really disappointed. So as far as the first book, I really enjoyed it. I actually didn't see a lot of the twists coming. I didn't think that all those people were actually the Greek gods. That really threw me off, all those other characters. And I really liked the build-up that we had between Kate and Henry/Hades. I thought that it was very well paced and it was drawn out. And I really felt for them. I really felt for Kate as a character, and I found her very believable, and I just really enjoyed that kind of slow burn romance. So at the end, I was really looking forward to the rest of the series. I was really excited about seeing these other Greek gods and getting to know them better, and I was excited to see what happened with this couple. Book 2 was not as great for me. I also read this one in a day, but I found it a lot harder to get through, and this is when the Twilight syndrome hit for me. When I started to see a lot of similarities between this book and the Twilight series. In the first book, you have a girl learning about a world that she has no idea about and where she's kind of in denial about, with a very kind of silent, brooding male character who is really resistant to kind of getting with her. So that kind of sounds like the first book in Twilight. Then we have this book where the male lead is gone for the majority of the book and they are separated, and she is left feeling if maybe he doesn't love her, yada yada. Sounds a lot like New Moon from Twilight. So that was when I kind of started to get a little bit bored with it. I did feel for their situation in a way. I think that the whole her feeling like it was unrequited love, that was very believable and it made me very sad for her, but at the same time I felt like she just needed to trust people more. She was not showing any of her strength. She was a goddess now, and she wasn't doing anything of value, I felt like. I know that there was a lot of crazy things happening, but she just wasn't doing anything that was really helping anybody out. I really loved that we got to see the underworld in this book. I liked how the underworld was handled, where people don't necessarily go to like hell or heaven as far as like Christian doctrine, but that they kind of choose based on what they believe. Like they just go where they think that they're going to go. And I thought that was a very cool and interesting idea, and I really liked that. Although I liked the whole Titan thing coming up in this, because obviously that's a huge part of Greek mythology, I didn't like that Calliope was our villain. Still, I was kind of done with her after book 1. I thought that she kind of reached her peak there, and she just needed to be kind of done. And then she reappeared in this book, and I just don't feel like she's a very strong character. I feel like she's kind of two-dimensional and just a brat. And I just don't feel like she was a very good villain. On that same note, when she continued to be the villain in this book, I was just over it again on the Twilight formula with the baby popping up. Feels a lot like Breaking Dawn, and it really kind of ruined the romance for me. Anytime that you kind of have a baby popping up as the main focus of the relationship and the most important thing in the world to two people who really haven't had time to kind of build their romance for very long, that was just really unappealing to me. Also, I feel like more could have been done with the Titans and other mythos that they could have explored. I just felt like only having Cronus and Gaia was not enough. The other gods we barely got to see. They were flitting in and out. You just didn't really get to see their personalities. There are so many gods there that you could really deal with, and you just didn't get a lot of that, which I was really disappointed by. And Kate was so worthless. Like, again, she is immortal and she's supposed to have powers, and she didn't do anything. The only thing she did was bring some girls up from the underworld, and that, like, was a good idea for a second. It was just, she didn't do anything. At least in the last book of Twilight, we got Bella actually having, like, really important powers, and Kate just didn't, and she was kind of a waste of space throughout the last 2 books, and I really wanted more from her. By this book, I really felt like the story had become super predictable. I felt that way in the second book too, but by this book, it was just, like, way overdone. Calliope as a character was way overdone. All the characters seemed two-dimensional and flat to me, and I just really didn't enjoy it, and I left feeling really disappointed by this book. As far as the novella bind-up, I kind of enjoyed it. I think it filled in a lot of stuff as far as why Calliope feels the way she does. Although honestly, I know the Greek gods are like this in actual mythology, but it just felt like that's a long time for you to hold on to this, like, unrequited love feeling for Hades, and for you to want to ruin the world over it. It didn't really seem believable to me, but I did feel a little more sympathetic for her and her situation with the first novella, but overall just meh. I did like the Aphrodite story. I really enjoyed her and Ares as a relationship because I just enjoy those kind of like fiery relationships, so that kind of fill-in was really good for me. The Persephone story felt a little redundant. I just felt like we'd already had all of this kind of built up. Yes, it was kind of nice to see that, but at the same time I felt like over the course of the trilogy, we kind of got to hear the story. Yes, not as in-depth, but we knew what was going to happen, so it just felt very predictable. The Hermes story I felt like was the most pointless story. Yes, he kind of needed redemption after the Persephone story, but not really, and I just didn't really connect to it. Also, the whole like insta-love between him and the girl character in there was pointless, and the whole story happened over a day. It just wasn't necessary to me. And the Hades story also felt the same way. I just felt like we didn't really need to hear all of that. We kind of knew what had happened with him. Yes, you got to see a lot of more of his feelings and what was going on inside his head before Kate made her appearance, but I just don't feel like we needed that much, and it just really felt, again, redundant by the end of it. So that is it for my discussion of these books. Overall, I was just left really disappointed. I had a lot of hope for the series at the beginning of it. I thought there was just going to be like a fun, fast-paced series and that Kate would be more of a strong character, and she just wasn't, so I was left feeling very disappointed at the end. Comment down below and let me know what you thought of the series, if you enjoyed it or if you didn't, if you had some of the same problems that I did, and let me know if you have any other Greek mythology retelling recommendations for me besides Percy Jackson. Obviously, I would love to read some more that's a little more well done than this. So thank you all for watching, and I will see all of you guys soon. Bye!